So as we are, here with, 5.0 coming in and we almost are nearing towards the Pyro Archon's release, I am now looking at sort of a retrospective of what Furina really did to the game, right? So I have a whole bunch of teams like readied up. I just went through and just got a whole bunch of teams for every character. So here we have a just general best Hu team in the game right now. It has Furina on it. Now, this is because Sinyun's release, right? Sinyun is in a couple of the teams that I'm here, like Zhao. Beforehand, I would not have run Furina and Zhao together just because that's not a good idea, I'm real. I would not have liked this nearly as much as having Sinyun here because Zhao just combined with having her HP drain and then, needing a healer, and a lot of the healers were Circle Impact at the time, right? So I just would not want to run Zhao before Sinyun's release, right? But then we have a couple characters who, generally, they just don't have better options, right? Furina does all field damage, and she can self-sustain when you build her in a certain way, right? So I'll show my Furina build real quick. She can self-sustain when you have 250 ER on her, and then you have her weapon, right? So you have all this stuff combined to make, Ito a little bit better. I'm real. It's not big because Ito just isn't that good, and there's no real healer on this team, which is what we needed for a while. Oh, I completely forgot a team that I can make. Hold on. I'll show you guys another team that I can make. I completely forgot one of the better free-to-play teams, or at least free-to-play friendly teams, was Noelle with just like, Xingqiu, Yelan, and then Furina, because Noelle is a healer, and this is a very good team overall for single target type deal, right? So there's a lot of good teams, and then you have characters that came out specifically healing themselves and giving themselves a lot of, HP fluctuation to work with Furina, right? And as we go down, we'll get into more like, iffy teams, but these are definitely teams that I would consider very good. Did you know that for the first 4 teams, for some reason, they count it as like a little separation, and then it doesn't happen again? It's so weird. I don't get why they do it. Well, I think I get why they do it, because this used to be however many teams we had. We only had 4 teams, but they just kept the separation here because for reasons I don't know. But yeah, we have, Nevi here, obviously another character that actually came out before her, but works tremendously well with her, right? And then we have Diluc, another character who basically was not going to be really run with Furina unless you were running already a healer to help Diluc, and it's nowhere near as good as just this, because this makes it so Furina's Hydro application is perfectly enough, and then you have Sinyun healing you, and then you have Bennett buffing you, and, he can also heal you at the same time. It's just very good. Makes the Pyro units a lot more usable with Furina. And then we have Ayaka here. Charlotte came out a little bit after. She is, I think, a team-wide healer. I do want to fact-check that, actually. It does say restores HP for all nearby party members based on Charlotte's attack. So this should be a full team-wide healer, which is really good and better to use than Shenhe, because with, Charlotte, you can use, Thrilling Tales of Dragon Slayers if you really want, and then also Favonius if you need the energy. So yeah, overall, this team is a lot better than, the other team. And then we have another Wriothesley team. I don't personally like running Freeze Wriothesley, but I hear that this team is really good because Mika's attack speed gives you a really good bonus with his thing. And then you also have his C1, which I think will proc with Mika. I haven't actually checked that because I want to make sure that I'm high level with my Mika's attack speed. But yes, Wriothesley C1, I believe, does still proc with Mika's C1. I don't think it takes, too short of time to hit to that 5th hit to where, like, the cooldown messes up and whatever. But anyways, but even still, you should be doing a normal 3 charge, but I just don't. So yeah, Mika here gives energy to Wriothesley also, which can help with AoE. And then, Furina gaining stacks, and then he's going to be healing, and then Wriothesley's also healing himself. And then Kazuha is here buffing, very good team. And then now we're going to pretend like I have Baiju here instead of Chi-Chi. This is basically Sinnoh's best team. Instead of maybe Nahida here, you want to put Fischl on the team to do some extra damage, or maybe you replace Baiju, honestly, and put Fischl here, right? And you can also get the energy particles, which would be great. And then we have Ganyu team. We have Diona here for interruption resistance, and then she'll also heal the active character on top of that. So yeah, very good for Diona there. You could also put Charlotte here, but personally, I'd rather have that extra interruption resistance because I think that is way more necessary for Ganyu than people want to act like it is, because, it's impossible to dodge a hit if you're charging an attack. It's impossible to dodge a hit if you're charging an attack. The boss would actively have to miss you. You're not dodging, you would get missed. The boss would miss you with its attack because you move at such a slow speed. So yeah, just want to clear that up with the Ganyu idiots. I mean mains. Then we have Utao. Once again, same story as the Luke. You know, literally best team. I think we already talked about this one a little bit. And then this is a Fizzly team that I was just doing. It's whatever. And then we also have a Yoimiya team that I just literally went into Abyss with and like tried to see if it would work. I didn't really notice too big of a difference of an issue. I went in with Yelan, and then I went in with, you know, Furina in the same slot, right? Went in with, so I had Furina here, you know, buffing Yoimiya, doing that. The one thing is, you don't really vape with Yoimiya, but the clear time was nearly the same as the Yelan and Furina run. So I'm just gonna say that, you know, Furina doing as much damage as she does, and Yoimiya doing as low damage as she does, kind of evens out why it doesn't really matter if she vapes. So yeah, that's one reason. And then you have this Curse team, sort of. You know, it's a good team. Maybe Arlecchino's best team, but you also have to, you know, get the proper rotation, get everything going, and it's not nearly as bad. And you end up killing the enemy. All right, so people are gonna get mad, but you end up killing the enemy before they can kill you. So Arlecchino being, you know, hit under 50% HP doesn't necessarily happen a lot. It really would only happen at the beginning of when you're setting up, right? If you switch into Arlecchino and then you just get tapped, and it's like, well, you can't really do anything about that. But then again, you can just easily heal because you shouldn't have been using your burst. And if you don't have your burst up and you're low health, then that just gotta be a skill issue. I'm gonna be real with you. But yeah. And then I think we already went over the Noelle team. So yeah, overall, very, you know, usable character compared to, you know, when she came out, because she got a lot of characters that works with her. Navia works with her. I don't even have Navia. Baiju, you know, helps her out with, you know, basically only Senna I'm seeing, because like it doesn't really do anything. I guess maybe in a Nilou team you could use Furina if you had Baiju. I just have never been able to test that out, and I don't necessarily want Furina's HP drain on top of taking damage from Bloom Cores. Not exactly a good recipe for like goodness. But yeah, overall it is just I was very critical to Furina because she was very, on paper, she looked a lot more restrictive than she actually is. Because one thing I was not necessarily doing at the time when I was talking about like, oh yeah, she's so restrictive, she doesn't even give, you know, damage bonus beyond like the first rotation, is I was not counting her C1 at all, right? That is something back then I wasn't necessarily like super focused in on, like, oh yeah, you should upgrade all the characters. Now I'm trying and focus more on like, oh yeah, is their weapon, am I missing their weapon, you know, am I missing their C1? So I didn't really hyper focus on that. So Furina, you know, she does, I will say, I like in the past, since I've made my last tier list for like top 10 support characters, I think I would put Furina at number 1. Like, it's just, she is really usable in a lot of teams with her C1, just due to her giving that flat 31% no matter what, right? And you don't have to, you know, gain HP, lose HP or anything, right? And then you can also just go ahead and slap a regular healer on there to make sure that your, you know, character stays alive. You know, honestly, I would say Furina probably is number 1 in the game now. I just, you know, I didn't really think so before, but I don't know. She's grown on me. I still do have a C0 versus C1 Furina video coming out. I plan to release it on her rerun, so whenever she's getting a rerun, I'll probably release it then, just so people can see the damage differences between characters. So yeah, that's going to be it for this video. Make sure to subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.